Hi, everybody. Yehudis Schamroth here, acupuncturist and nurse from Ramat Beit Shemesh, Israel. Welcome back to Wellness Wednesdays. Today's topic is a little bit of a repeat from other times before. I have often spoken about healthy foods, fermented foods, organic foods, all the different types of foods you can eat to make yourself healthier. Today, I want to repeat some of what we've discussed before, but with a special mention of reminding everybody that we should really support and buy from our local growers and our local producers, because this is the best way to help the economy in your area. You're also going to be eating the best type of foods for your bodies, because you'll be eating food indigenous to your area. That's a very macrobiotic concept. I have not done a show on macrobiotics, but I think I will one day, because I think it's a very important type of diet one might want to go to. You eat foods that are only local to your area. So, for instance, when I grew up in Buffalo, New York, upstate New York, I would only eat apples and pears and all the cherries and all the things that grew in my area in terms of fruits. And I probably wouldn't have eaten any grapefruits or lemons or limes or any of that kind of thing, because they would come from more of a different part of the country. So it's a little bit of a challenge, but it's really supposed to be a much healthier way for your body to ingest, digest, and absorb all the good nutrients from your local area. But I also like to promote people too, because it's really difficult for people to maintain businesses, especially after COVID-19 and all this. We're still going to have a fifth wave soon. I hope we don't, but this is what they're talking about. And in that line, too, we want to keep ourselves as healthy as possible. So as long as you're still taking your vitamin Ds and your vitamin Cs, your zinc, quercetin, all those different wonderful things, if you're not getting that, you have to do that if you're not getting it from your food. But eating your food can also help with that. And I want to start the day off by just saying that this is a weekly program. I have a private practice in Ramat Beit Shemesh, Israel, for acupuncture, Chinese medicine, and nutrition. And I'll put details down in the sidebar. My details are already there. Acupuncture, www.rbsacupuncture.com. And I have a Gmail, rbsacupuncture@gmail.com. I can do a free consultation for you from wherever you live in the world. And we can talk about what your needs are and how possibly you can heal yourself with a good combination of Western and Eastern medicine, which I'm really good at by now, because I've been a nurse anesthetist for 30 years. And I've been an acupuncturist for 10 and a Chinese medicine practitioner. So I try to blend the best of both worlds, and we can help you get healthier in any way you need to do it for yourself. So I'm going to first discuss, I'll talk about superfoods, obviously. And there are people in my area that are available to people in the Ramat Beit Shemesh and general Israel area. There's a lot of organic foods being grown here. It's a very health conscious country. On one level, it's a little bit of a dichotomy, because you see a lot of junk food on the shelves as well. But there's a good amount of people that really care about what they put inside their bodies. And if it's organic, that's great. Even if it isn't organic, as long as it's healthy and fresh, whole foods, that's really the way to go. So I'm going to feature a couple of growers that are good people, vendors, I would call them, or business people who live right in our area, and you can contact me to get their details. But the person I'm going to mention today most prominently will be Shlomo Feinstein, and he's got a business called Nature's Live Foods.co.il. You'll see it in the sidebar. Nature's Live Foods. He has a business in a kitchen, produces exclusively gluten-free foods, breads, crackers, and seeds, and all that, as well as fermented foods, which is very, very good for our digestion, as you know. So we're going to discuss that at length in a minute. But before that, I just want to do a review of what does it mean to have a good, healthy food for yourself, and why we care what the foods are called. And for instance, we hear of things like antioxidants and flavonoids and all those things. And what do they really mean? And I have discussed them before, but I just want to, in just a little bit more depth, share a little bit more about why we care about what these things are and why we should eat them, and how we can get them into our diets. Okay, so here, is that flashing for you? There we go. Okay, so let's talk about the concept of antioxidant, first of all. What is an antioxidant? So an antioxidant is a substance it can be produced by your body, but mostly found in foods. And antioxidants protect your cells from cell damage. So a diet rich in antioxidants can help you fight oxidative stress and reduce the risk of developing certain diseases. So that's a mouthful right there. But we want to know what foods are antioxidants and what causes this kind of breakdown of the cell membranes in the first place. So, like, what do antioxidants really do? Okay, so we know that high levels of free radicals are damaging to our system. Free radicals are byproducts from different types of metabolic processes in our body. We can also get free radicals in our body from pollution, from toxins in the air, toxins in our food, toxins in our shampoos, additives to foods, environmental, all kinds of things. The emissions from the cars. All these things can cause cell damage. Okay, and cell damage is another word for oxidation. So when something called oxidative or oxidative stress happens to you, it causes a disturbance in the balance between the production of reactive oxygen and antioxidant defenses, which is, of course, a little complicated. But what bottom line is that the free radicals that are produced by this oxidation and damage of the cell, they do more damage to the cell. And so the body's processes can be totally interrupted, like your mitochondrial activity. You can have tissue trauma from this. There are other causes of oxidative stress besides the environmental stuff, like lots of smoking, drug addiction, radiation, exposure to chemicals, chemotherapy. Unfortunately, a lot of different things can cause all kinds of oxidative stress in our bodies and release all these free radicals, which do tons of damage to our cells, and they can't function properly. And so what we want to do is eat a nice plant-based type of diet, and mostly plants. I'm not saying be vegetarian, you don't need to, but you can just make sure every vegetable you eat, if it's not organic, it should be nice and bright red color. Those are known to be the most antioxidant types. And what the antioxidants do, they scavenge around for the free radicals, and they try to gobble them up so they don't do any more further damage to your cells. So we want to know what the sources of these antioxidant foods are. You want to hear antioxidant all the time. So just know it's a good thing. Even if you don't remember the chemical process, we know that free radicals run around the system, and they cause a lot of damage to the cell membranes. So if you have a lot of damage to your cell membranes, you're going to end up with cancer, heart disease, and diabetes even, and obesity contributes to it, of course. So in a simpler way, these free radicals are waste products, and we want to pick up those waste products with our antioxidants. So just think of the antioxidants being a cleaner upper of the free radicals that do damage. Okay, so what foods are rich in antioxidants? And then they're found to be all the really bright colored vegetables and fruits, and also spices and herbs. So you want fruits, vegetables, berries, nuts, seeds, and chocolate. And I've listed a whole lot in the sidebar of all the different foods and all the content of antioxidants, because there's so many to mention here. There's actually thousands of antioxidants in the world, and we don't produce enough in our body to keep ourselves up to par with the battle we have to fight with all the onslaught of the different toxins in the world we come across. But we do know that there are certain things we can incorporate into our diets that really will help us a lot. So let's talk about them specifically. First of all, my printout did a crazy thing, and I hope I have my stuff in order. Okay, we first want to start off with, we know antioxidant, the nutrients are what we're looking for, okay? Vitamins A, vitamin C, E, something called selenium, something called beta carotene, lycopene, and a couple of other things that I won't mention. Flavonoids are another thing. Those are considered antioxidants. So what are those things in particular? Okay, so first of all, I want to discuss, we do know that there are studies that show that foods that are high in antioxidants are often referred to as superfoods or functional foods. And there's been a research at the University of Oslo that studied foods to determine which ones have the highest concentration of antioxidants. And the results have been published in many nutrition journals. So they found that the most antioxidant-rich groups included spices and herbs, of course, and other foods were fruits, vegetables, berries, nuts, seeds, which we're going to go through. So there was a women's study that found that vitamin E supplements didn't give enough of a barrier for preventing heart attack and other things that they thought initially. So that women who are at risk for heart disease, and anybody who is at risk of heart attack, stroke, or anything like that, 65 and older, it's very beneficial to incorporate all these antioxidant foods into your diet. Now, Dr. William Li is somebody that I would dream to interview one day. He's written a book called Eat to Beat Disease. I've discussed it many times before. He is the biggest promoter of eating antioxidants of anybody I've ever read. He works in vascular research and he talks about the concept of the reason why we have an illness in our bodies, that we don't have good enough vessels in our body, and the vessels transport the oxygen, which is needed for healing. So he is a big proponent of eating antioxidant foods. One day I'm going to interview him. You should read his book, Eat to Beat Disease, and he constantly talks about all the best antioxidant foods, which of course we all love. A lot of the things he mentions, but not everybody can eat them, but I'll go through them. There's chocolate, which is one of them, coffee, green tea. He says, drink green tea all day long to your heart's desire. He says to eat a lot of the very red rich foods, which have lycopene. I'll discuss in a minute. Vitamin C, vitamin E, and all the things that will give you those rich those foods that give you the vitamins that you need for producing more and healthier blood vessels. So selenium and vitamin E also. So let's go to the specifics. Let's talk about vitamin E for a second. Vitamin E is an antioxidant that's stored in the fat. And you might hear that it's called fat soluble. Okay. So it is, it fights off free radicals that attack the fat cells in your body. And so it might stop the LDL cholesterol from turning into a form that would be hard for you to manage and cause hardening of the arteries and even lead to cardiovascular diseases. So where are you going to get this vitamin E from? In foods. You can get whole grains. You can get it from vegetable oils, olive oil, sunflower oil, nuts, green leafy vegetables like kale. Okay, walnuts especially. That's one of Dr. Lee's favorite is the walnuts and the green kale. Okay, that's vitamin E. Good antioxidant for heart disease. Okay, we want to talk about vitamin C. Vitamin C is also known as ascorbic acid. It's stored in water, and it was known to do everything from preventing colds from becoming worse. That's why people take a ton of vitamin C when they're sick. It helps with wound healing and skin healing. It helps with preventing cancers of the stomach and the lung and the digestive system. And we want to know where we're going to get our vitamin C. Everybody seems to know these days. Of course, it's going to be our citrus fruits, our grapefruits and our oranges and our lemons, and lots of green leafy vegetables and tomatoes. So your vitamin C is good to have every day in your diet. Okay, we can also talk about something called beta carotene, which is the stuff we see in carrots. It's a substance that is fat soluble, and it's in the yellow, orange, and red vegetables. Okay, and people take it as supplements a lot, and it turns your body turns this substance, the beta carotene, into something called retinol, which can be dangerous if you take too much as a supplement, but it's helpful for your eyes, it's helpful for your skin, and it's free. If it fights all the free radicals that cause damage to your brain and your eyes and your skin. So you want to get this beta carotene from fruits, grains, carrots, squash, spinach, and other real green vegetables. Okay. The next thing, you might have heard of something called lycopene. This is called a carotenoid, and that's just the name of something that there's different types of antioxidant foods, substances that are found chemically. And the word lycopene is just a description for something that comes from all the very rich red vegetables and fruits that we eat. So if you think of a nice salsa or a nice tomato sauce or spaghetti sauce, that's your lycopenes. And of course, again, Dr. Lee is a very big promoter of if you can eat tomatoes, if you're on just special diets where you can't have it, or if you have arthritis, it's a nightshade, and some people are staying away from it for that reason because they say it might promote inflammation. He disagrees, by the way. But in any case, we'll get this lycopene, which can help protect you from prostate, lung, and breast cancer. And it might help protect against other cancers as well. And it's a good antioxidant. It helps gobble up all those free radicals. Okay. Selenium. Selenium is something we hear about. Now, there's a couple products out there that combine vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, and selenium. And that's a really nice supplement to take because you don't have to take all 4 supplements. And they all together, you take it in one pill. It's very efficient, and you'll get a lot of protection all around. So selenium is found in the soil and the water, and it's a mineral that really helps your thyroid disease at work. And it's also an anti-cancer antioxidant, and it helps with your lung and your colon and your prostate. It's easy to get too much, so you got to be careful. You want to just make sure you get it, though, in small amounts every day if you can, with grains, onions, garlic, nuts, soybeans, meat, and liver. Okay, there's another category of special antioxidants. They're called flavonoids, and they really named them that because they're very flavorful. So these are the kind of things that are also extremely important. You hear a lot about incorporating these into your diet. Go back. So the berries are very essential. They have a lot of delicious, so they're delicious. They have a lot of vitamins in them. And there's like 4,000 different types out there, but you can just choose the ones you want. You have green tea, again, we talked about before, red wine, apples, chocolate, and berries. They're heart health protective, and they can help prevent aging, cataracts, memory loss, stroke, inflammation, and infection. And we're going to do a whole new topic another time on inflammation of the body. You can find it everywhere, and people are very confused by this title or this terminology because inflammation doesn't mean too much to people until they come up with a chronic illness or something they can't explain. And it's almost 9 times out of 10 due to inflammatory process somewhere in the body. So if you have red rashes all over your hands and feet or something, there's an inflammation going on there. If you're having irritable bowel syndrome, there's an inflammation going on there. If there's all kinds of even insomnia and things that you can't put your finger on what the cause could be, there's probably a deep inflammation going on sometime at some place in your body, and we can get to the root of that without doing a good Chinese medicine and Western medicine evaluation. Okay, so eat your berries, you drink your green tea every day, and have some chocolate, and have a glass of red wine every now and then. Okay, of course, everybody knows about pomegranate juice. Pomegranate is like the antioxidant, the best known out there. It's a very healthy juice. Okay, we won't get to that yet. Fermented foods. The omega-3s. I guess I didn't talk about omega-3s. Where are my fish? I guess I didn't put that picture in. Well, we know we want to eat omega-3s. Sorry, I'm looking for my fish. There it goes. Fish. We want to get our omega-3s. That's our good, healthy fats. Okay, we get our omega-3s, which are antioxidant also. Everything we talk about today is antioxidant. Okay, and there's a lot of foods. So don't think you have to go and starve yourself or put yourself on a very boring, bland diet. You can have a wonderful diet from eating all of these fruits and vegetables, and you'll give yourself heart health and skin health and lung health all under one good, healthy diet. So the omega-3s, of course, we need for our good, healthy fats. Talked about that many, many times. It's salmon, tuna, walnuts, sardines, things like that. And on the other side, you want to have some omega-6s. They're not too many, but you can get vegetable oils and poultry. And people who eat chicken will get your omega-6s from that. But you don't want you have a higher ratio of omega-3s to omega-6s. Otherwise, it puts you in the reverse health. So try not to overdo the omega-6s. Okay, on the sidebar again, I listed spices and herbs and all the different content of the antioxidants. I can put it on the screen here for a second. So you can see there's so much out there. Green mint, cinnamon, cloves, allspice, oregano, basil, fruits, pomegranates. Okay, I can just go on and on. So please look at the sidebar for this, and you will see all the different things you can eat that incorporate into your diet. Now, before I get to my friend Shlomo, he has got a business called Nature's Live Foods, and it's local to the Israel area. But I'm sure you can find someone in your area who has a home business or a small store business where you want to go to somebody that you trust and somebody who monitors their foods and somebody who's overseen by the Ministry of Health, possibly. Okay, and so your takeaway from free radicals is that you don't want to have any more in your body than you need. And of course, you don't want any. And antioxidants will help prevent diseases. So eat these foods that are antioxidant. And included in that group of foods is fermented foods. And this is what Shlomo is, my friend Shlomo's got his business with Nature's Foods. I hear a cat somewhere. So that we know what the process of fermentation is. Everybody's heard of sauerkraut and everybody's heard of pickles, right? So those are 2 really great examples of fermented foods. But why do we want to eat them anyway? Okay, we've heard of kimchi and pickled vegetables and kombucha as a drink. Yogurt, sauerkraut, and kefir. And there's many, many more, but these are the main ones that people are familiar with. You can make these on your own. You don't have to buy them from anybody. But for me, I like to buy them from the local vendors because it gives them a way to make a living, and I don't have to worry about taking my whole kitchen over by doing this, or my whole refrigerator. And they have all the right equipment and tools and the proper temperature to keep things by. I've made a few things myself that have gone off because I just wasn't able to monitor the temperature. So I'd much rather buy something that I know is a known and well procured product by an expert than even try it myself. Sometimes you can actually make yourself sick if you ferment things wrong. They can really go off quickly. Make your own pickles. That's a fun thing to do, which I think I'm going to do a workshop on with Shlomo one day. But We know fermented foods make a major contribution to the dietary staples of numerous countries all over the world. Africa, Asia, Latin America, everybody's got their own versions of fermented foods. And fermented foods are described as they're very, very tasty and they're wholesome. And they don't have to cook them. They sit on the shelf for a very long time. And they're also, if you need to, they used to be known as the poor man's food because people couldn't afford refrigeration. So they made a lot of their foods into fermented foods so they could have them through the winter. But it's really a funny stigma that it has because it's a very, very healthy kind of food to eat. Because fermented foods can also help you fight diseases and give you more, have more strength and opportunities to do the things you love to do. So you want to be a strong, healthy person. And we know now with all the research, I did a whole webinar on the microbiome, which is all the good bacteria in your body and how it needs to be in balance versus the bad bacteria, which gets knocked out by things like toxins and antibiotics and so on. So we want to keep the good bacteria in balance and have it stronger than the bad bacteria. And you can do that by eating these fermented foods. So what are the benefits? I had a little, what did I say here? I guess everything's out of order. I'm so sorry. We're going to go. Nope, I guess I don't have I do have a really nice, there we go. So when you eat fermented foods, okay, microorganisms like yeast and bacteria, it will break down the food into something much simpler so your body can really digest it. So, and the research shows that fermented foods and vegetables and drinks can give your body the good bacteria, which can help influence your metabolism and put your immune system stronger and make your whole body into much better balance. And you can eat these every day. So we know about pickles. We know health benefits of fermented foods are just mostly in the digestive area, but digestion is key to everything. So if you don't have a good digestion, none of your nutrients will be absorbed from your other good foods. And also, your supplements that you want to take. If you don't have a good digestion to start with, so much just passes right through your system. So the first thing I want to talk about, of course, is pickles. Let's see what I have about to. Let's talk about sauerkraut first. Let's see. Sauerkraut. You can pickle anything, by the way. I have everything out of order, so sorry. There we go. Sauerkraut. What's so good about sauerkraut? I love it. My father used to make it. I was growing up with sauerkraut all the time. It's called sour cabbage also. It's made by mixing salt and shredded fresh cabbage and pressing it down and to release the water from the vegetable. And you can add other things to it. You can add flavorings to it. Shlomo, my friend Shlomo of Nature's Foods, Live Foods, he makes a delicious sauerkraut. And we know that it has a lot of lactobacillus, which is very good probiotic. We've heard about probiotics, and that helps put the microbiome in your digestive system back into order. And it will help treat skin issues like eczema, ulcerative colitis, irritable bowel syndrome. And we know in the old days it used to help with scurvy because it has a lot of vitamin C in it. So we know you can get sauerkraut at the store. You can get it in cans. You can get probably better to get it in a jar. Or you can buy it, if you're in Israel, buy it from my friend Shlomo at natureslivefoods.co.il. The next thing I can just discuss real quickly is kombucha. So Shlomo makes an amazing kombucha as well. Now, what is kombucha? That's a drink. I'm going to find it here. I have a little bit of a write-up on it. It's a drink. It's made from tea. They make it into a tea. And it's made by mixing black tea and natural sugars and bacteria and yeast, actually. So a yeast product. But by the time, Shlomo tells me that by the time it breaks down into your system, you're not really getting yeast. So you can have these things if you have tendency towards yeast infections or any kind of a problem with the edema in your body or things like that. You know that you can take these things for your digestion and get them in all different flavors. He makes amazing flavors. Ginger, apricot, passion fruit are the best flavors and the most popular. They're loaded with B vitamins and acetic acid. So people with diabetes like this because it helps stabilize your blood sugar as well. And detoxifies a little bit in the body. It helps with arthritis and it really helps with the immune system. So I was talking about pickles before, and you should really try kombucha. It's like a ginger ale with a flavor. It's delicious. Pickles, cucumbers and beets. You don't have to just do pickles. Shlomo does everything. He does every vegetable. You can count on him. He does nowadays. He's been doing pickled turmeric, which is really amazing, and honey, and that's really delicious. And as we know, turmeric is a great antioxidant, but it's also good for helping. Warm and warm the system up and help just to get to help diseases like arthritis and pain and things like that. Okay, now I wanted to talk about sourdough bread and sprouting. Okay, sprouting. What are sprouts? People hear a lot about sprouting. Another line of Shlomo's foods are sprouts, sprouted breads, sprouted cookies, sprouted products of all kinds. What does sprouting do? It tends to increase the nutrient levels in the grain. You take a grain, like a whole piece of whole any kind of wheat. They call them wheat berries, or anything. You could do mung beans. You can do any kind of chickpeas, any kind of vegetable of seed, and you can sprout it. They have broccoli sprouts are very popular these days. If you can get a hold of them, you can take any vegetable and take the seed and sprout it. Sprouting tends to increase the nutrient levels of the grain, the legume, or the vegetable, or the nuts that are being sprouted. You can do sunflower seeds. It's incredible how many things, and he sells them all. Sprouts are also contain lower levels of anti-nutrients, making it easier for your body to absorb. So if you have a poor digestion, sprouting is a really great way that gets the digestive process started for you. So it's very easy to absorb, and it's gluten-free also. So this is what a sprout looks like close up when you have like a bean sprout of some sort. You see the little tiny long tail here. That's the sprout. And that's what we can teach that one day. You can look up all kinds of YouTube videos on sprouting. It's really easy to do. I'm not going to go through that here, but we can just tell you what the end result is. So sourdough is a kind of bread that, like you see here, his product is a gluten-free organic oat bread, sprouted sourdough bread. It's really delicious and amazing. And if you're a gluten-free person, you have to have a piece of bread to put your butter on, or your peanut butter, or your avocado, or something. You should try these breads. And if you don't live in Israel, you can go to any health food store and get sourdough organic oat bread. So sourdough is a type of bread that tastes a little bit sour, but because the dough is fermented, just like we were talking about before, that's a very healthy state of food to be in, to naturally give you some protection in your body and help you with your digestion and your immune system. So unlike regular bread that has baker's yeast, sourdough uses wild yeast of bacteria. And the bacteria in sourdough is similar to that turn milk from milk to yogurt and cheese, similar kind of mechanism. And so when the dough is fermented, the grains are broken down quickly, and so that way when you eat the bread, you can absorb your calcium and your magnesium and your iron and your zinc so much better, which is also incorporated in the kind of bread that this produces. You're getting all these nice minerals in a form that you can digest very, very easily. So this is something that you can buy from Shlomo, and I have his website on the side there, and his website has a phone number there if you're in Israel. This is a picture of the bread when it comes out of the oven. I had some videos of Shlomo, but truthfully, I couldn't figure out a way to incorporate them into this presentation. So I'm going to go to his studio one day, his kitchen, and try to do it myself. He makes crackers out of flax seeds and sunflower seeds. Again, everything's gluten-free and easily digestible. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about, which is something that people know about kimchi. Kimchi is taking kimchi. I don't have a picture of kimchi, but that's also called a superfood because kimchi is a fermented dish that you can get a lot of Korean restaurants. It's a vegetable that it's fermented similar to the sauerkraut, and it helps so much with vitamin B and A and C. It gives you energy, and it's spicy though. You have to be careful. It's very, very spicy. So we do know that fermented foods decrease inflammation in the gut, and everything from kimchi to kombucha. They can stay in the refrigerator a long time. They really revive your gut bacteria and help normalize it. And they're considered probiotics, which are healthy bacteria. And we know that these probiotics contribute to the healthy gut microbiome, and they do help with chronic inflammation. So there's a study that shows that people who consume more fermented products over a 10-week study period had an increase in microbiome diversity. So why would you want to have microbiome diversity? Because it's better for you to digest all your diverse foods that you're eating and deal with all your diverse immune system. Everybody is a different individual. So there was the study about the microbiome. They found it was specifically exciting because they said the results of this is an example of how simple change in diet can reproducibly produce. Results are one of the first examples of how simple change in diet can reproducibly remodel your microbiome in your body. So you can eat to change your microbiome, which is pretty cool. Okay, and it impacts your health greatly. And the last thing I want to discuss is something called Rejuvelac, which is a product that I buy from Shlomo, and I have a lot of my patients take if they have upset stomachs and if they need live probiotics. Live probiotics are better than pills because sometimes when you buy these pills, You don't even know if you're supposed to get all this lactobacillus and all this stuff that help you normalize your gut bacteria. You might get a dead product, literally. You might get a product that's been sitting on the shelves for months and months and months, and you're not getting any live probiotic whatsoever. And you're taking these pills and spending all this money. I think people are better off, eating fiber-rich foods and really healthy whole foods, and taking something like a probiotic that you trust, that is live, in the form of a pill that you can trust, or in the form of cultured foods like milk and yogurt, tempeh, miso, sauerkraut, all those things. But if you want to drink something every day to really give you a live probiotic, you're going to try something called Rejuvelac. So I'm going to talk about Rejuvelac because I recommend that to so many people. Again, it's a gluten-free product, even though it's made from grains. So because by the time it goes through the fermenting process, it's really broken down so much, it's not a gluten product anymore. So Rejuvelac, something that Shlomo makes, and you can make your own. You can watch videos on it, make your own. It's really gesundheit, as they say, make your own. But go ahead. But really, I like to buy his because, again, he has temperature controlled refrigeration, and he uses only pure clean products, and he's being checked by the health department often. So we know that his product is tried and true and good and safe. So what is Rejuvelac anyway? It is a fermented drink made from sprouted and soaked grains. And it is it's a probiotic, the best probiotic you can take, because it's live probiotic cultures you're drinking, and it goes right into your absorbed into your system. You don't have to have a pill breakdown in your system, or it doesn't compete with food. It goes right into your digestive system, especially the small intestine. So I had a picture of the process. Again, I didn't get a chance to put it together in a video form, but we'll do that one time. But doing this every day for a couple of months really improves your digestion, and especially people who have irritable bowel syndrome, or they want to just rest their digestive systems because they're just in so much pain and cramping and constipation, diarrhea, all kinds of difficulty things that people have, upset stomachs. A daily, couple times of drinking 2 glasses a day of this Rejuvelac will revitalize your whole digestive system. So what are the benefits of this probiotic? Because it's excellent for digestion, obviously. And it helps to restore all the beneficial bacteria that you need. So it's good to go on again after you've been, maybe if you're in a weakened state, like if you've had chemotherapy, if you've just had a baby, or if you've just had bad digestive health all your life. So Rejuvelac will promote beneficial bacteria in your intestines. It's a really great source of B12, which we know is good for brain health. It fights bad intestinal bacteria. It aids in reducing inflammation. So people who have inflamed bowels that have all that alternating constipation and diarrhea and cramping, it's terrible. This helps with it. And it helps your skin health, because once your digestion is good, your skin is going to also clear up. People who have acne and skin rashes and things, eczema. It corrects your digestive dysfunction. It just corrects it by taking it over time. And it aids in producing and absorbing more vitamins and enzymes and oxygen. So, and because it's fermented, it is a rich source of the lactobacillus and aids your digestion. And if you eat a lot of cooked food, it does destroy enzymes and that you need for digestion. So consuming Rejuvelac will help this. But this fermented drink is not only good for your digestion, because it's fermented, it is a rich source of all the different B vitamins you need, and it populates all kinds of other good bacteria in your system. And it helps the balance of the good to bad bacteria in your system. And it will really help you improve things like acid reflux, irritable bowel, and so on. Okay, so that's the presentation for today. I wanted to go through microgreens, but I feel like we'll do that next week. That's another product of Shlomo's. Microgreens are some amazing, amazing foods. These are, again, a sprouted product. You take any kind of seed and sprout it, and you eat it in a salad, or you eat it in soups, or you just eat it by the handfuls. It's tender and delicious and wonderful, and the healthiest vegetable and vitamins you can really get in one type of food. So we're going to talk about those next week, as well as interview a dear friend of mine. She's a new friend, and we're going to become business partners soon, I hope. Business colleagues anyway. Her name is Leah Mitnick, and she runs a juicing company called Mitzchai. That means juice for life. That's in Hebrew. And she has a whole processing business selling organic juices, which also do a lot of healing for the intestinal tract and for your whole body. So without further ado, I'm going to say goodbye and have a really good week, and enjoy your rich, vibrant, colorful foods, and eat your antioxidants. And now you know what they are. Look at the sidebar if you need reminders. Watch this again if you need reminders. Anything that that's really a whole food and very rich in color. You can eat pretty much as you want, and just so make sure it doesn't interfere with other allergies or things like that. And we want to just focus on healthy eating. And this is what we're doing in the next 2 sessions next week: juices and microgreens. And you guys all have a wonderful week. And it's good to see all of you here online. And please join me next time. Have a healthy week.